Hello dear students of the 6th elementary grade, and welcome to a new episode of our program. It's time for mathematics, and on this episode we'll be discussing and explaining lesson 1 of unit 3, relation between the geometrical shapes, with our teacher of mathematics, Mr. Ahmed Mahran. Hello, Mr. Ahmed, and welcome to the program.
Hello.
Okay, Mr. Ahmed, let me just remind our viewers that we'll be waiting for your phone calls on our phone number 257-56187. The number will appear on the screen, so if you've got any questions, do give us a call. Okay, Mr. Ahmed, let us start our lesson. We're talking about relation between the geometrical shapes. So what are we supposed to have in this lesson?
Yes, first of all, we have to explain the quadrilaterals. The quadrilateral is what is a polygon. Any polygon consists of 4 sides. After that, we have to know what the parallelogram means. The parallelogram is a quadrilateral in which each 2 object sides are parallel. After that, the last part for program today, the special cases of a parallelogram: rectangle, rhombus, and the square. Yes, let's explain together, my dear students. If we have this figure, we call it a quadrilateral. Yes, a quadrilateral. Any polygon consists of 4 sides: AB, BC, CD, DA. 4 sides. We call this figure or this shape by what? By a quadrilateral. A quadrilateral, if each 2 object sides are parallel, we get what? We get a parallelogram. It's a very important point. A definition of what? Of a parallelogram. What is a parallelogram? Yes, a parallelogram is a quadrilateral in which each 2 object sides are parallel. As you see, AB parallel to what? AP2 parallel to DC, and by the same way, AD parallel to what? Parallel to BC. A parallelogram, as you see, parallelogram is what? Is a quadrilateral in which every 2 object sides are parallel. Every 2 object sides are parallel. Yeah. And the object shape ABCD is a parallelogram. AB parallel to what? Yes, the line segment AP parallel to what? Parallel to DC, and the line segment AD parallel to the line segment BC. That's so important. Yes. By using the geometrical instruments, we deduce that, yes, AP equal DC, the length of AP equal DC, and the length of AD equal BC. First, we know each 2 object sides are parallel, and by measuring, by using the rule, we can deduce that the length of the line segment AB equals the length of the line segment DC, and the length of the line segment AD equals the length of the line segment BC. It's the first property of what? Of the parallelogram. Yes. The second what? Every 2 object sides, yes, every 2 object sides are equal in length. After that, if we make a comparing between the object angles, we find that, yeah, measure of angle A equals the object angle. Measure of angle A equals the measure of angle C, and measure of the angle D equals the measure of the angle B. Yes, it's so important. Second property of what? Of a parallelogram, and we can say, yes, every 2 object angles are equal in measure. Yes, the first one, every 2 object sides are equal in length, and the second property, every 2 object angles are equal in measure. Yes. Let's continue the properties of a parallelogram. The third one, it's a very important property of a parallelogram. Yes, let's see together, my dear students. If we add the measure of the angle A plus the measure of the angle B, the result will be what? The result will be 180 degrees. By the same way, the measure of the angle P plus the measure of the angle C equals 180 degrees. Yes, by the same way, the measure of the angle C plus the measure of the angle D equals 180 degrees. And finally, the same idea, the measure of the angle D plus the measure of the angle A equals 180 degrees. We note that A, B, their sum equals what? Excellent. Their sum equals 180 degrees. By the same way, the angle P plus the angle C, their sum equals what? Yes, their sum equals 180 degrees. And by the same way, the measure of the angle C plus the measure of the angle D equals 180 degree. And finally, the same area, the measure of the angle D plus the measure of the angle A, yes, equals 180 degree, doesn't change. But we know that, yes, a very important notice. What is the relation between A and B? Yes, we can say the angle A and the angle B are two consecutive angles. The angle A and the angle B are two consecutive angles. What does it mean? يعني ورا بعض. Angle A angle B are two consecutive angles, يعني في ورا بعض متتاليتين. It's a very important word. Yes.
And each two consecutive angles are
yes.
what?
Are their sum equals 180 degree, doesn't it change?
Yeah.
Yes. Any two consecutive angles, yes, their sum equals 180 degree. If we know the measure of each one of them, yes, we can simply find the measure of the other. It's a very important property, and we can write, yes, the sum of any two consecutive angles equals 180. It's a very important property of what? Of a parallelogram. And finally, yes, we have the diagonals. What the diagonal means, my dear students, all of you know, yes, the diagonals have a line segment which is joining between any two non-consecutive vertices. Yes, a diagonal. What does a diagonal mean? Yeah, the diagonal of a parallelogram. Yes, a diagonal is what? Is a line segment which is joining between any two non-consecutive, yes, non-consecutive vertices.
So let us
yes.
sum this up. If I ask you complete each of the following,
yeah.
okay? It says in a parallelogram, each two opposite sides are what and what?
Yes, very good. This question is a very important question. Yes, a property of a parallelogram, as we explain now, my dear students, the parallelogram, each two opposite sides are parallel and equal in length.
Parallel and equal
in length.
In length.
Yeah.
Okay, and also each two opposite angles are what?
Are equal in measure.
Yeah. And each two consecutive angles are?
The supplementary, we can say supplementary, or their sum equals 180. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can also say that in the parallelogram, it's a very hard word to pronounce, parallelogram. Two diagonals are what? Or the two diagonals?
Yes. Now, just we explain it now. The diagonal, yes, the diagonal means the line segment which is joining between any two consecutive and two non-consecutive vertices. So, how many diagonals are there, my dear students, in a parallelogram? Yes, in the quadrilateral, generally, we have only two diagonals in any quadrilateral shape. Yeah. How many diagonals are there in any quadrilateral shape? Yes, any quad we have only two diagonals. What is the diagonal? Yes, the last property of a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other. Yes, the two diagonals intersect at one point, the point M as you see, and the diagonals bisect each other. Yes, what does it mean? If we use the ruler, sorry, and we can measure the length of what? The length of AM, and the length of MC, and the length of PM, and the length of MD. Yes, we will find a very important point. The length of AM equals MC, and the length of BM equals MD. Each diagonal, my dear students, divide the other one into two equal parts. Yes, what does it mean? The two diagonals of a parallelogram bisect each other. Each diagonal divide the other one into two equal parts in length. Yes. Again, the diagonals of the parallelogram bisect each other. It means each diagonal divide the other one into two equal parts equal in length. As you see, we have two diagonals, AC, the first one, and BD, the second diagonal. Yes. The diagonal AC bisect the diagonal BD, as you see. The diagonal AC divide BD into two equal parts, MD plus, and MB, and the diagonal BD bisects the other one, AC, into two equal parts, AM and MC. So, my dear students, we have four important statements. The first one, what is a parallelogram? Parallelogram is what? Parallelogram is a quadrilateral in which each two opposite sides are parallel. Don't confuse them. The definition of a parallelogram, a quadrilateral in which each two opposite sides are parallel. Each two opposite sides are parallel. But what about the property of a parallelogram? We have just 4 properties of a parallelogram. The first one, each 2 opposite sides are equal in length, and the second one, each 2 opposite angles are equal in measure, and the third one, it's a very important one, yeah, the sum of any 2 consecutive angles equals 180, it doesn't change, 180 degree. And the last one about the diagonals, we have only 2 diagonals in a parallelogram. What is the relation between them? Yeah, the 2 diagonals bisect each other, and we explain what does it mean. Any diagonal bisects the other into 2 equal parts in length. So we have 5 statements. Yeah, 5 different statements. One of them, the definition of a parallelogram, and the other 4 statements represents what? Represents the property of a parallelogram.
What about the perimeter of the parallelogram?
Yeah, the perimeter of any shape, very important to know, my dear student. The perimeter of any figure, the sum of its side lengths. It's very important. You have to understand it very well. The perimeter of any shape, what does it mean? The sum of its side lengths. Whatever this shape is, a regular shape or irregular shape. We have a parallelogram, yes, a parallelogram, a regular shape. Yes, each 2 opposite sides are equal in length. We have 2 sides are equal in length, and opposite 2 sides are equal in length. We can sum the lengths of the 4 sides, yes, together, or we can sum the 2 different lengths and yes, multiply it by 4 as the rule of what? Very good, as the rule of a rectangle. How we can find the rule of a rectangle? Very good, excellent. The rule of a rectangle, length plus width between brackets times 2. We can use the same rule to find the perimeter of a parallelogram. Yes. Okay,
I have a question here.
Okay.
It says we have a figure, and it says ABCD is a parallelogram in which AB equals 2 centimeters, AD 6 centimeters.
Yes, we have a parallelogram ABCD.
Yeah, AB equals 2 centimeters.
Yes.
AD equals 6 centimeters.
AB CD, a parallelogram. Yes.
Yeah, and M is
AB equals 2 centimeters.
Yeah.
BC equals 6
AD
centimeters.
equals 6.
Yes.
And M,
measure of the angle.
Angle ABC.
ABC equals ABC. Yeah. Equals what? Yes.
Equals 105 degrees.
105 degree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you please adjust the paper a little bit?
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit more.
We can draw another
one. Okay.
Figure, yeah.
I'll give you the requirements again. We have ABCD. AB equals 2 centimeters.
BCD, a parallelogram. Yes.
Yeah.
AB 2 centimeters. Yes.
AD
and
6
AD
centimeters.
6 centimeters. Yes. And the measure of the angle B equals 105 degree. Yes.
Yeah.
What is the required?
The required complete. BC
equals the line segment BC, or the length of the line segment BC equals, yes.
How much centimeters? Space centimeter. And DC equals what centimeters?
Yes. BC equals what centimeter? Yes. And what?
DC.
DC equals what
this
centimeter?
Is number 1.
Yes. It's okay. We know, my dear students, the first property of a parallelogram. The first property says what? The first property, each 2 opposite sides are equal in length. Each 2 opposite sides are equal in length. So, by studying our figure, we have ABCD, a parallelogram. That's okay. We have ABC, a parallelogram. ABCD, a parallelogram. We know the first property says, the each 2 opposite sides are equal in length. So it's so easy to find the length of BC, and so easy to find the length of what? Of DC. Why? Because BC opposite to what? BC opposite to AD. The length of AD equals 6 centimeters, so we can deduce easily the length of BC equals what? The length of BC equals 6 centimeters. Yes.
Okay.
And the same way, AB equals 2 centimeter or DC equals 2 centimeter. Just apply the first rule, or just apply the first property of a parallelogram. Each 2 opposite sides are equal in length. Yes.
Okay. And then M angle of D equals how much degrees?
It's okay.
Yeah.
We have the measure of the angle M, the measure
Yeah.
of the angle D, yes.
Yes.
The second, the second property of a
Required.
parallelogram. What is the relation between the opposite angles? Very good, yes. The opposite angles are equal in measure. So the measure of the angle D, yes, D is the angle opposite to what? Opposite the angle B. We have the measure of the angle B, yes. So D opposite to the angle B, so the measure of the angle D, the same measure.
What about A?
105. What about A? Very good, yes. What about how we can find the measure of the angle A? We have the third property, which we explained before, yes? The sum of any two consecutive angles in a parallelogram equals what? Excellent, equals 180 degrees. So if we know just one angle of a parallelogram, we can deduce the other three angles. Yes.
C?
We have C, it's okay. Just subtract 105 from 180. Yeah. The measure of angle P plus the measure of angle C equals 180, doesn't it change? We have the measure of the angle B equal 105, so we can get just one step to get the angle C. The measure of the angle C equals what? Yes, 180. The measure of the angle C, we can write them. Measure of the angle C equals, yes, measure of the angle C equals, again, measure of the angle C equals 180 degree minus 105. Yes, the result will be 75 degree. 75 degree. Just applied our property. We have a very important property. Each two opposite sides are equal in length. If we know the side, any side of a parallelogram, we can reduce the opposite side, the length of the opposite side. It's okay.
Okay, we've got a caller. معانا هاشم من القاهرة. أهلا بك يا هاشم.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام، ازيك يا هاشم؟
الحمد لله.
عندك أسئلة؟
لا أنا عايز أسأل.
عايز تتسأل.
طيب
Okay.
هاشم.
طيب لو سألته عن ال parameter of the parallelogram في الشكل ده
Yes.
ممكن؟
We have a parallelogram. معانا يا هاشم؟ طيب الباراليجرام اللي احنا كنا بندرسه دلوقتي A B C D كان عندي ال length of AB 2 centimeter and the length of AD 6 centimeter. Can you tell us how we can find the perimeter of it?
length plus width times 2.
بس تكير يا هاشم، انت طبعا بتتكلم صح، بس احنا ما نقدرش نقول length plus width الا في الريكتانجل. هنا انا عندي في two dimensions of a parallelogram. الريكتانجل لسه هنشرحه بعد شويه وهنقول الرول بتاعه. فعلا هي نفس الفكره. يعني we have to sum 6 plus 2 times 2 and we can 2 plus 6 plus 2 plus 6. برافو عليك. طب يلا معايا ممكن نعملهم كده. هنقول ايه البريمتر equals what
side plus side times 2.
Yeah, side plus side times 2 or the two dimensions 2 plus 6 between brackets times 2. هتقدر تقول لي الريزلت؟
16.
Yeah, 16 watts.
16 centimeter.
Very very good, very good. برافو يا هاشم عليك. طيب انت فهمت معانا ال definition of a parallelogram and the properties of a parallelogram؟
Yes.
طب نعرف نقولهم مع بعض؟ طب يلا ساعدني. Parallelogram is
the two opposite sides are equal.
Equal in what?
Not
equal in length.
Equal in length.
Yes.
And the two diagonals, the two opposite diagonals are equal.
The diagonals bisect each other.
Bisect each other.
لا, but the two diagonals of a parallelogram not equal in length.
Yes.
Yeah.
The two angles, the two opposite angles are equal in length.
Excellent. Any two opposite angles are equal in measure. Yeah. The third one?
The sum.
Excellent.
Of the
consecutive. Yeah.
Angle are equal 180.
Their sum equals 180. The sum of any two consecutive angles equals what يا هاشم؟
equal 180.
180. طيب انا لو قلت لك في واحده منهم الميجر بتاعها 60، تقدر تقول لي الميجر بتاع الثانيه؟
Yes.
كام
180 minus 60.
equals what?
Equal
ها
120.
degree. برافو عليك، انت هايل يا هاشم، برافو عليك. طيب
شكرا. عايز تسأله حاجة تاني ولا خلاص؟
لا هو شاطر.
طيب
ما شاء
شكرا
الله.
ليك هاشم من القاهرة وبرافو
We
عليك.
have an example, huh? Yes. We have an example, yes, huh? Let's study it together. Yes, we have a parallelogram ABCD as usual, yes, in which the measure of the angle D equals 120, the same idea, yes, and find measure of the angle B and measure of the angle C. It's a very important property, yes. You have to understand it very well. Why? Because we can use it several times to find the measure of the rest of the angles of any parallelogram. Yes. As you see, my dear students, we have A, B, C, D is a parallelogram. Yes. The measure of the angle D equal 120 degree. Find the measure of the angle B and the measure of the angle C. Excellent. Very good. أنا سامعكم طبعا وأنتم بتجاوبوا كويس أوي زي هاشم. Bravo. Yes. We have a very important property. Yes. Each two opposite angles are equal in measure. Yes. What is the opposite angle to the angle D? Excellent. Angle B. So it's so easy to deduce the measure of the angle B. Measure of the angle B equals what? Equals 120 degree. Excellent. Yes. And how we can deduce or how we can calculate the measure of the angle C? Very good. We have to use the third property. The sum of any two consecutive angles equal 180. It's a very important property. 120 subtracted from 180, the result will be 60. Yes, it's so easy to. It's okay.
Yeah, we have a caller. معانا نورة من القاهرة. أهلا بك يا نورة.
اهلا.
عايزة تتسألي؟
طيب احنا قدامنا حالا اهو. اوكي يلا يا نورة. احنا قدامنا حالا اهو. اكزامبل بيقول ايه؟ شايفاه طبعا.
بس هي الصورة معلش ثانية لسه ما جاتش.
A B C D is a parallelogram.
measure B.
Measure D equals what?
هتبقى 120.
Yes, measure of what? 120. نورة
measure B. هتبقى 120.
Measure of the angle B. Why measure of the angle B equals 120? Why?
لأن لما بيكون two measure قصاد بعض بيكونوا
برافو عليك. Each two opposite angles are equal in measure. The angle B, yes, opposite to the angle D. The measure of the angle D equal 120 degrees. So the measure of the angle B equals 120 degree. Yes. What about the measure of the angle C?
measure angle C هتبقى 180 minus 120.
احنا بنكتب اللي انت بتقولوه اهو. انت شايفه اللي انا بقوله اللي كاتبه دوت هو اللي انت بتقوليه. برافو عليك. The measure of the angle D plus the measure of the angle C equals 180 degree. Yes.
هقوم لو 180 minus 120 equals 60 degree.
Excellent. طيب انت فهمتي definition of a parallelogram يا نورة وال its properties؟
definition of parallelogram. لا انا ما كنتش متفرجه على الحلقه من اولها.
طيب it's okay. The definition of a parallelogram, a quadrilateral in which each two opposite sides are parallel. Yes. And we have very important property.
Could you repeat it again for her?
Yes, again نورة a parallelogram
a parallelogram is
a quadrilateral in which
each two
opposite sides are parallel. Yes, we have two different points. And the definition of a parallelogram, quadrilateral in which each two opposite sides are parallel. But in a property, the first property, each two opposite sides are equal in length. Don't confuse them. Yes. طيب what about the property of a parallelogram يا نورة؟ البروبرتي بتاعت الباراليلوجرام.
each two opposite sides are parallel.
Are equal in length. Don't forget.
Equal in length. Each two opposite angles are equal.
In measure, yeah.
In measure.
What about the diagonals?
Diagonal.
The diagonals,
The diagonals are
bisect each other.
Bisect each other.
Do you understand what does it mean? تقدري تقولي لي what does it mean? The diagonals bisect each other.
ايه؟
معناها ايه؟ The diagonals bisect each other.
I'm سامعة.
بقول لك what does it mean? The diagonals bisect each other.
The diagonal bisects each other.
معناها ايه؟ طيب يعني each diagonal bisects the other one into two equal parts in length. يعني كل diagonal بيقسم الdiagonal التاني ل two line segments are equal in length. مفهوم؟ تمام. It's okay. شاطرة. طيب وفي واحدة بقى يا نورة بس اللي هي ايه؟ The sum of ايه؟ The sum of any two consecutive angles equals 180 degree. It's a very important point. Thank you for your call.
شكرا ليكي نورة من القاهرة. برافو عليكي. نرجع تاني، يعني واضح ان هم هاشم ونورة بيتابعونا باستمرار وبقوا شاطرين خالص.
طيب okay. We have another example, Mr. Yasser, related to the same subject. Yes, we have a parallelogram ABCD and a diagonal AC and other diagonal DB. Yes, ABCD is a parallelogram where the measure of the angle A equal 53. All the measure of the angle A equal 53 as you see. Yes. Measure of the angle DBC equal 45. Measure of the angle DBC equal 45. Yes, very important exercise. Again, ABCD is a parallelogram. Measure of the angle A equal 53. Measure of the angle DBC, yes, DBC equals 45 degree. Yes, AM equals AM, just AM. The length of AM equals 7 centimeter. Yes, AB equals 6 centimeters. Yes, as you see. Find BC equals 9 centimeters. Yes. Find what? Calculate without using the geometrical tools. Each of what? The first required. Yes. Measure of the angle ABD. Measure of the angle ABD. This angle. ABD. It's very important to study carefully your example. Yeah. ABD. Yes. And the measure of the angle what? And the measure of the angle D. Yes. Finally, the length of what? The length of AC, AD, and DC. Very important exercise. Yes. He gives me what? He gives me the measure of the angle A. All the angle A. Measure of angle A equal 53 degree. Yes. And the measure of the angle what? Measure of the angle DBC. DBC. Yes. Equals what? Equals 45. And I ask about what? The length of AB equals 6 centimeters. And the length of BC equals 9 centimeters. Find the measure of the angle ABD and the measure of the angle D. And the length of what? The length of AC, AD, and DC. Let's see, my dear students, how we can solve this exercise. Yes, as we explained before. Very important point. The sum of any two consecutive angles equals what? Equals 180 degree. So, the measure of the angle A plus the measure of the angle B equals 180 degree. Excellent. Yes, we have measure of the angle ABD equals 180 minus the sum of the other two angles. Yes, A plus B, measure of angle A plus the measure of the angle B equals 180. Yes, we have the measure of the angle A and a part of what? Of the measure of the angle B. Angle ABC divided into two angles. One of them we have the measure of it, 45 degree. So it's easy to get the measure of what? The measure of the missing part. Yes, measure of the angle A plus the measure of the angle B. Yes, equals 180. Yes, measure of the angle ABD, the first required, 180 minus what? Minus the sum of 53 plus 45. You can use your calculator to get the result. The measure of the angle ABD equals 82 degree. Yes, 82. This triangle. Yes, it's a very important exercise. Yes, let's continue, my dear students. Measure of the angle D. Yes, what is the relation between measure of the angle D and measure of the angle B? Yes, two opposite angles. Again, study the drawing. What is the relation between angle D and angle B? Excellent. Yes, they are opposite. B opposite to D or D opposite to B. Yes, we got the measure of the angle B. All the measure of the angle B equals what? 82 plus what? 82 plus Yes, 82 plus 45, the result will be 127. So easy now to deduce the measure of the angle D. We have now the measure of the angle B, yes, 45 plus 82, 127 degree. D is opposite to B, so the measure of the angle D, the same measure, yes. The second required, my dear students, talks about what? Talks about the perimeter or the length of what? The length of MC and BC and AB. As you see, the diagonals bisect each other. It's a very important property of a parallelogram. Yes, we have what? We have the length of AM. Excellent. AM equals what? Equals MC. What is the length of AM? The length of AM equals 7 centimeter. Yeah, so we can deduce the length of MC. MC equals what? 7 centimeter too. Yes. So we can find AC. The total length of AC equals what? AM plus MC. 7 plus 7 equals 14. So easy to get the final one. AD equals BC. Yes, AD equals BC equals 9 centimeter. So AD equal 9 centimeter and DC equal AB equal 6 centimeter. It's so easy, my dear students. It's a very important subject, and we can apply directly the property of a parallelogram. Each two opposite sides are equal in length. Each two opposite angles are equal in measure. The sum of any two consecutive angles equal 180 degree. And finally, the diagonals bisect each other. Yes, you have to understand them very well and just apply the property. Yes. What about the second part of our study the shapes? Yes, we have a very important and interesting part of our program today, the special cases of a parallelogram. We know the parallelogram and we know the definition of a parallelogram and the properties of a parallelogram. What is the relation? Yes, our topic today. What is the relation between rectangle, square, rhombus, and a parallelogram? Yes. Let's study, my dear students, the three shapes. The first one rectangle, and the second one square, and the third one rhombus. Yeah. As you see, A, B, C, D, yes. X, Y, L, Z, yes. And finally, the name of the last figure, M, N, P, Q. Yes. What is the name of the first one? Rectangle, yeah. What is the name of the second? Square, yes. What is the name of the third one? Rhombus, yes. Let's study together the three shapes. First, the line segment AD, yes, the line segment AD parallel to what? Very good, the line segment AD parallel to the line segment BC, yes. And by the same way, the line segment AB, yes, AB parallel to what? Yes, parallel to the line segment DC. By the same way, if we study the second figure, yes, XL, line segment XL, yes, line segment XL parallel to what? Yes, parallel to the line segment YZ. And the line segment XY parallel to what? Excellent, yes, parallel to the line segment LZ. Finally, the line segment MN parallel to what? Yes, parallel to the line segment QP or PQ, the same. The line segment MQ parallel to what? Parallel to the line segment NP. Yes. What we can deduce, my dear student, after studying the three figures? Excellent. Each two opposite sides in each figure are parallel. When we study the first figure, we get each two opposite sides of a rectangle are parallel. And by the same way, when we study the square, each two opposite sides are parallel. Finally, when we study the rhombus, each two opposite sides are parallel. And we know the parallelogram, yes, each two opposite sides are parallel. What is the relation between them? Yes, let's know what we know. We noted that each two opposite sides are parallel in each of what? In each of the rectangle, the square, and the rhombus. Yes, so we can say the parallelogram will be a rectangle if what? If one of its angles is right. if 1, yeah, it's okay, you have a call.
Yeah,
okay.
we've got a caller. معانا بهاء الدين. أهلا بيك يا بهاء.
الو.
ازيك يا بهاء؟
الحمد لله تمام.
ايه انت لسه صاحي من النوم ولا ايه؟
لا.
طيب ايه بتابعنا من أول حلقة؟
اه.
عندك أي أسئلة؟
لا.
عايز
عايزة
تتسأل؟ عايز تتسأل؟
اه.
طيب
طيب.
اسأله يا مستر.
ها انت عرفت البريلوجرام الفيرست بارت من البروجرام بتاعنا النهارده؟
اه.
طيب انت فاكر دلوقتي الكلام اللي احنا قلناه البروبرتيز اوف ا بريلوجرام اند الديفينيشن اوف ا بريلوجرام؟
اه.
طيب تقدر تقوله معايا؟
اقدر اقول.
ها ارفع صوتك بس شويه.
حاضر.
قول.
اول حاجة ان H2 diagonals are equal in length.
the properties of what؟ ها
ايه؟
احنا بنتكلم على البروبرتيز اوف بريلوجرام ولا انت هتتكلم على البروبرتيز اوف ريكتانجل؟
لا انا بتكلم على البروبرتيز.
علي صوتك شوية يا بهاء.
علي صوتك شويه يا بهاء. ها
لا بتكلم على الباراليلوجرام.
نتكلم على a parallelogram. The two diagonals of a parallelogram not equal in length.
اه.
It's okay. ما نقدرش نقول زي ما انت قلت دلوقتي. انا عارف انك انت مش واخد بالك. لا ال two diagonals of parallelogram not equal in length. تمام؟
اوكي.
طيب لكن نقدر نقول bisect each other. bisect each other. طيب والangles ها؟
each angle.
Each two opposite angles are
equal in
measure. Yes, very good. ها each two opposite sides are what?
are equal in length.
Yes, excellent. The sum of any two consecutive angles equals what?
180.
180. طيب برافو عليك يا بهاء. طب لما نيجي نشوف هل يا ترى تعرف what is the definition of a rectangle؟ ها؟ الخط فصل تقريبا.
طيب شكرا ليك بهاء الدين من مدينة
Let's continue
شكرا
this point, Mr. Yasser. The three figures, a rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus, each two opposite sides in each of them are parallel. The same definition of a parallelogram. So we can say a rectangle is a parallelogram with right angle. Or we can say a parallelogram will be a rectangle if one of its angles equals 90 degree. Yes.
What about the rectangle in which two adjacent sides are equal in length?
Yes, it's a square.
A square.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's imagine what's the difference between a rectangle and a square? All sides of a square are equal in length, but in a rectangle, each two of the sides are equal in length. If two adjacent sides are equal in length, the rectangle in this case will be a square. Okay, we have a call?
No.
Yes.
Okay, you may carry on.
Okay. A rectangle if one, yes. The first special case of a parallelogram is a rectangle. What is the relation between them? Yes, a rectangle is a parallelogram. Why? Because each two of the sides of a rectangle are parallel. The same definition of parallelogram. So easy to understand. A rectangle is a parallelogram with right angle. يعني لو تخيلنا كده الباراليلوجرام في انجل واحده من الفور انجلز بقت 90 برافو هيبقى rectangle. يبقى rectangle, what does it mean? Or the definition of a rectangle? Yes, rectangle is a parallelogram with right angle. Yes, rectangle, rhombus, and the square, all of them a special case of what? A special case of a parallelogram. Rectangle is a parallelogram with right angle. Rhombus is a parallelogram in which two adjacent sides are equal in length. A square, both the two definitions of a rectangle and of a rhombus. We can say a square is a parallelogram with right angle and two adjacent sides are equal in length. Yes. Let's continue, my dear students. As you see, a rectangle, a parallelogram will be a rectangle if one of its angles, yes, is right. Yes. And by the same way, a square, a parallelogram will be a square if one of its angles is right and the two adjacent sides are equal in length. Yes. Finally, the rhombus, the parallelogram is a rhombus if what? If two adjacent sides are equal in length and the diagonals are perpendicular. The diagonals are perpendicular. Yes, we have now three new definitions: rectangle, square, and a rhombus. We can say easily rectangle is a parallelogram with right angle. Yes, A rhombus is a parallelogram in which two adjacent sides are equal in length. And finally, the square take the two definitions. The two definitions together. A square is a parallelogram with right angle and two adjacent sides are equal in length. What about the properties of each figure, my dear students? Let's study together. Yes, we have an example now. We have an example in the opposite. Yes, we do.
Okay, we've got a caller.
Yeah.
معنا أمير من القاهرة. أهلا يا أمير.
الو.
ازيك يا أمير، عامل إيه؟
كويس.
إيه الأخبار معاك؟ الماث عاملة معاك إيه؟
كويس.
عايز تتسأل؟
طيب
اسأله
ها
بس.
أمير أنت كويس تمام؟ طيب تقدر تقول لي what is the definition of a rectangle?
What?
A rectangle is what?
It is a parallelogram.
Yeah.
It is a right angle.
With right angle. It's okay. Can you tell me more about the properties of a rectangle?
It's
just describe. Yeah, just describe the properties of a rectangle. The sides. What the relation between them? The angles and their measures. Just describe.
Its sum of measure are 100 degrees.
The measure of each angle of a rectangle equals what?
180 degrees.
Please listen. The measure of each angle of a rectangle equals what?
180.
طيب
That's okay.
خط قطع معلش.
كويس. هو بيتكلم على
الباراليجرام. لو تقدر تتصل بينا تاني جرب.
Let's, my dear students, remember a parallelogram, yes, and the special cases of a parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, and a square. All of them is what? Is a parallelogram, but with different properties. Yes. The rectangle, each two opposite sides are parallel, each two opposite sides are equal in length, the sum of any two consecutive angles equal 180, and the diagonals bisect each other. All the three figures take the same properties of a parallelogram. الأربعة properties of a parallelogram. كل الأشكال بتاعتنا three figures, rectangle, rhombus, square, have the same property. Plus some properties. Yes, in addition to some properties. For example, the rectangle. The rectangle has the four properties of a parallelogram beside what? In addition to the diagonals bisect each other like a parallelogram, but the length equal in length. Yes, the diagonals of a rectangle equals in length. And what? The four angles of rectangles are equal in measure, and the measure of each one equal 90 degrees. We have two addition property. Yeah. Yes. Again, a rectangle, a special case of a parallelogram. Rectangle is a parallelogram. So all the properties, the rectangle have all the properties of a parallelogram. Beside what? Besides two other property. The diagonals equal in length, and the four angles are equal in measure. Yes, and the measure of each one equal 90 degrees.
Okay, let us go back to that example again.
That's okay. We have now, we have an example, yes. And the opposite figure, we have ABCD is a parallelogram in which AB equals 6 centimeters and BC equals 7 centimeters. Yes, PM equals 3.8 centimeters. Yes, study the lesson carefully. We have the measure of the angle C equal 30 degrees. And the measure of the angle C equals 70 degrees. And without using the geometrical tools, find measure of angle ADC and the perimeter of the triangle BDC. Again, the first required measure of angle ADC equals what? And what is the perimeter of triangle BDC? ADC. Let's study together, my dear student, the answer. The answer, ABCD is a parallelogram. The measure of the angle ADC plus the measure of the angle BCD, excellent, equal 180 because they are consecutive. Yes. We have the measure of the angle BCD equals what? 70 degrees. So we can use the calculator to get the result. 180 minus 70 equals 110 degrees. The first required. The second one, yes, DC equals AB. DC equals AB. each two opposite sides are equal in length. DC equals 6, so yes, AB equals 6, the same side. BD equals what? BD equals the sum of what? BM plus MB, because the diagonals bisect each other, so it's so easy to write BD equals BM plus MB. Yes, the length of BM equals 3.8 and the length of MB equals the same length. Yes, 3.8. So the length of BD equals what? 7.6. Yes. Now we can find the perimeter. As we said before, my dear students, don't forget, yes, the perimeter of any shape equals what? The sum of its side lengths. The perimeter of any shape equals what? The sum of its side lengths. Yeah, yes. The perimeter of the triangle ABDC, sum of its side lengths, BD plus DC plus CB, 7.6 plus 6 plus 7, just add them to get the result 20.6 centimeter.
Okay, I have some quick questions.
It's okay.
All right, we could discuss them orally.
Yeah.
The first one says complete each of the following.
Yeah.
The four angles are right in each of what?
Excellent, yes. We have the four angles are right in each figures. In which figures? Yes. Excellent. The four angles are right in a square and a rectangle.
Yeah. The parallelogram whose diagonals are perpendicular is called?
Yes. We have two figures, their diagonals are perpendicular, but which one of them is the answer? Yeah. We have
the parallelogram
square. Yes, yeah. The square, the diagonals of the square are perpendicular, and the diagonal of what? Of the rhombus are perpendicular. But our question is which figure just its diagonals are perpendicular? Yes, it's a rhombus. Why rhombus؟ يعني ليه قلت rhombus ما قلتش square؟ عشان السكوير perpendicular and equal in length. وهو ما قاليش انه perpendicular and equal in length. يبقى if لو قال لي بس the diagonals are perpendicular يبقى rhombus. طب لو قال لي perpendicular and equal in length يبقى ده لازم يكون square. والديفرنسز دي very very important, the difference between the diagonals in the three shapes.
Yeah.
The diagonals in the parallelogram, the diagonals of a rectangle, the diagonal of a rhombus, and the diagonal of a square. It's very complicated.
Yeah. Okay. The parallelogram is a rectangle if?
Yes. A parallelogram is a rectangle with right angle.
Yeah.
A parallelogram, as we said before, a parallelogram will be a rectangle if there is right angle.
Yeah. The parallelogram whose diagonals are equal in length and perpendicular is
That's
called?
the point, yes, which said before. Just now, the diagonals perpendicular and equal in length. Yes, a square. It's a big difference between the diagonals of a square and the diagonals of a rhombus. The diagonal of a rhombus perpendicular but not equal in length. The diagonal of a square perpendicular and equal in length. Yeah.
Yeah. The parallelogram whose all sides are equal in length.
Yeah. One student asked the same question.
Yeah.
Maybe a square, maybe a rhombus. Yes.
Yeah.
But the correct answer, if a parallelogram, four sides are equal in length, it will be a rhombus. It will be a rhombus.
The rhombus in which one angle is right is?
Is a square. Yes. The rhombus, the four angles of a rhombus, yes, not equal in measure. Yes. Each two angles equal in measure.
What about the rhombus whose diagonals are equal in length?
Yes, the same.
The
square.
Same. Yeah. Okay. The two diagonals are perpendicular in each of what and what?
Rhombus and a square, as we said before.
And
rhombus
square.
And a square. The diagonals are perpendicular in rhombus and a square.
Yeah, the rhombus is a square if what are equal in length?
The diagonals are equal in length.
The diagonals. So the rhombus is a square if the diagonals are equal in length.
Yes.
Let me have the last one. The two diagonals are perpendicular in each of?
Yeah, the two diagonals are perpendicular in each square and the rhombus. Square and the rhombus, yes.
So our time is up. So I'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed, for being with us.
Thank you.
Mr. Ahmed Mahran, it's been a really interesting lesson. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of this episode. Dear students of the 6th elementary grade, we've had lesson 1 of unit 3, relation between the geometrical shapes. So ما تنسوش ميعادنا يوميا من 4 ل 5، وإعادة الحلقات بتكون الساعة 5 ل 6 صباحا. وتقدروا تتواصلوا معنا أيضا من خلال جروب برنامجنا على الفيسبوك مدرسة على الهواء ابتدائي وإعدادي. وإن شاء الله بكرة هيكون في حلقة مع مادة اللغة الإنجليزية. يا رب تكونوا مستفيدين من حلقاتنا. And until we meet you again, we wish you all the best. Goodbye.